In February 2026, Japanese voters gave an unprecedented victory to Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi and the Liberal Democratic Party, endorsing her pledge to further boost Japan's military capabilities. Japan's defense budget is at the highest level ever in the post-war period, and this is an indicator of Japan's sense of vulnerability as threats in Northeast Asia grow and the international order comes under increasing strain. So Tokyo is acquiring new military capabilities, including long-range missiles, in order to meet what it sees as a more dangerous environment. Japan has the world's fourth largest economy. Its defense budget is the 10th largest in the world, and it hosts more US troops than any other country. Its choices help to shape the balance of power in the Indo-Pacific. Japan is being driven to improve its military capabilities by rising pressure from China and North Korea, and also by concern that Russia's war in Ukraine signals similar risks in Asia. Meanwhile, war in the Middle East is deepening Japan's sense of vulnerability. There are also concerns that US foreign policy under the second Trump administration is less coherent and less committed to defending the international order, indeed, in some cases, directly challenging that order. And this is important for Japan as a maritime trading nation because its foreign policy is predicated on upholding a rules-based order and the rule of law. Japan is responding to these challenges with a three-track approach. It is strengthening its own defenses, it's reinforcing its alliance with the United States, and it's expanding partnerships with like-minded countries, not only in Asia, but also with Europe and with NATO. Japan's priorities include acquisition of counter-strike capabilities, that is long-range missiles, as well as strengthening its defenses in its southwest islands, those close to Taiwan. Japan is also working on what it calls resilience, hardening air bases, stockpiling fuel and ammunition. It's also attempting to bolster its defense industry, which traditionally has been somewhat undersized, and Japan is also seeking to ease restrictions on lethal defense exports. Japan faces a number of constraints in attempting to improve its military capabilities. These are principally fiscal pressure. It has a shrinking population, and its defense industrial base is limited. The dilemmas that are inherent in alliance dynamics are arguably becoming more pronounced for Japan. The dilemma for Japan is that the US is indispensable to its security, but Tokyo is uneasy about the orientation of US foreign policy. Japan's military modernization is, in many respects, aimed at keeping the US engaged in Asia and sustaining the security architecture of which the US is the hub. Japan's foreign policy is predicated on respect for international law. Tokyo regularly declares its opposition to the unilateral use of force to change the status quo. And this is a reference not only to Taiwan, but also to its own territorial disputes with China. So Japan has a dilemma with respect to deepening the alliance, but also upholding the rules-based order, which is fundamental to its free and open Indo-Pacific vision. There's a long list of things that Japan needs to do in order to enhance its security and pursue its military modernization. One thing that's important is that it needs to work more closely with the United States in clarifying respective roles in potential crisis scenarios, not least a Taiwan contingency. Japan needs to strengthen its indigenous analytic capacity on defense. So there needs to be greater cooperation and research between Japan's defense sector, academia, and industry. Japan needs to continue to deepen its ties with partners that share its Indo-Pacific vision. It's also important that Japan reopen and maintain channels of communication with Beijing in order to reduce the risks of miscalculation.